Is there more to swords than what's being led on? One standout example is Enma, offering an ability that extends beyond what we thought was possible for blades. This sword draws upon the swordsman armament to cut as deadly as possible. So, one must question, is Enma the only blade with its own unique ability? Or does every blade offer something special? Some more subtle than others? Could the alter ego of Cavendish, Hakuba, whose sword skills and speed increased dramatically, be the result of his sword, Durandal, as some have theorized? Could Asura be related to not only Conqueror's Haki, but also one of Zoro's swords? And what of the Wado Ichimonji? The blade revealed to be crafted by the same swordsmith as Enma, Kozaburo Shimotsuki. Most people overlook that Kozaburo created both the Wado Ichimonji and Enma, but this immediately made me believe Oda had something more in store for the Wado Ichimonji later on. As I began to look through the series, one thing became noticeable. Out of every blade that Zoro has received, the Wado Ichimonji's personality is never mentioned. Logetown. The Sandai Kitetsu is mentioned to be a cursed blade, a problem child that wants to cut more. Whiskey Peak. Yubashiri is seen as incredibly light and fast. Thriller Bark. Shusui is said to be heavy, swallowing up the slashes of other blades for a greater effect. It's so durable that not even a dinosaur could cause a dent. And it is also called a problem child. Wano. Enma is said to be extremely deadly, with a very serious personality. But the Wado Ichimonji, absolutely nothing. We know nothing of its personality or special features, aside from it being a world-class blade that survived an attack from Mihawk. But if we deconstruct the name, the straight path of harmony suggests a sword that embodies a singular pure path or philosophy centered on peace and harmony. If Enma was the very serious blade that Kozaburo created, then Wado would be the peaceful blade. But what if that is a clue? Them being the opposite of each other could very well tie into the true power of the Wado Ichimonji. Each blade is like a person with a unique disposition. The personality of a blade differs between swords. It's a joke that deadly swords are believed to be cursed. Cursed swords aren't actually cursed but have a disposition or personality to cut and kill as many as possible. Some blades naturally have this personality, like Enma, the Kitetsu swords, etc. Within many mythologies, there are numerous examples of cursed blades, each with their own deadly personalities. These swords are not merely weapons, they are embodiments of malice and chaos, often bringing misfortune to their wielders. So far, Oda has keyed in on curse blades. Blades feared, blades with deadly dispositions, blades that bring misfortune and curses, blades that can take control of the user, suited for killing. But as some know, these are not the only type of swords in mythology. There is an equally opposite class of swords in mythology, and Wado, the white blade, may very well be a part of it. Perhaps it is a holy sword. Within the past, there are numerous legends of holy swords, revered for their purity and protective abilities. These blades are not just weapons, they symbolize divine favor and justice. These holy swords are known for their divine attributes, granting their wielders enhanced strength, protection, and the ability to triumph over evil. The Wado Ichimonji might embody similar qualities. Its name, the straight path of harmony, suggests a blade imbued with a harmonious and protective nature, contrasting sharply with Enma's aggressive personality. Do you recall Kushiro's words in the Alabaster Arc? The strongest sword is a blade that can protect what it wishes to protect, and cut what it wishes to cut. Can you see the parallel? The connection, the yin and yang of swordsmanship, cutting and protecting. Some swords have an unnatural disposition to cut. So could the opposite be that some swords have an unnatural disposition to protect? Could that be what Wado is? Enma gave birth to Zoro's King of Hell style, a heavily offensive style of swordsmanship that imbue an overwhelming amount of armament and conqueror's haki to dismantle his enemies. Perhaps this was fate. Zoro was introduced as a demon swordsman with a cynical aura. His style of swordsmanship was regarded as ferocious and unrelenting. Some of his techniques referenced demons, even calling on the names of mythological creatures to take down his enemies. It is almost as if Zoro's personality suited the blade from the beginning, even more so than Odin's. But that wouldn't suit Wado, would it? A style like King of Hell, with Enma's personality. Instead, imagine a style that is serene, that doesn't require great physical strength and overwhelming haki. A peaceful, quick, defensive, protective style that would suit.
泣きたいくらい悔しいのは私の方で、ゾロはいいね、男の子だから。私だって世界一の剣豪になりたいよ。
You're lucky you're a boy, Zoro. I want to become the world's strongest swordsman too. His best friend's style of swordsmanship is deeply ingrained into every fiber of his being after losing to her over 2,000 times. Could it be that Zoro not only carries her will symbolically to become the world's strongest swordsman, but will eventually carry her style alongside the King of Hell style? Perhaps we have seen a glimpse of it before. Do you remember? When Zoro was near death in Alabasta, he awakened an unknown power that allowed him to pass his will onto his blades. Hundreds of chapters later, we find out that this was the same ability the samurai used in Wano, Ryo.
和の国にも体を伝い、刀身にまとわせる力がある。良い刀は切りたい時に鉄をも切り、切りたくない時は紙すら切れぬ。
But there was something else there. Zoro could hear the essence of everything around him. He knew where the rocks would not fall. He could hear the rhythm of the trees, the ground, and Mr. One's steel. He could hear the breath of all things. As many readers understood, this was a form of observation haki. But what if it was a more advanced version than even Zoro realized? This unnaturally peaceful state where he was completely in tune with everything around him. A state of Zen. If Enma is the ultimate offensive sword that cuts anything, using overwhelming armament and conqueror's haki, then what if Wado's style, Kina's style of swordsmanship, is the ultimate defensive style? A style that uses a unique, advanced observation haki to protect, to counter, to cut down enemies with minimal force? Many theorize that Zoro will require advanced observation haki to deal with his fated enemy, Shiryu. Could this be the fight, where he not only awakens that observation haki, but also hears Wado for the first time? Where he develops another style with Quina in mind? A style that can counter the invisible man, a style that runs parallel to the King of Hell. Only time will tell.